I don't like that some people try and dismiss the importance of romantic relationships in the name of self-love. You can love yourself and still want to be loved by others. You can love yourself and still crave romantic love. You can have family and friends that love you and still want a man and still feel like you need that romantic love because it's a part of life.
I saw him first, he's all mine. You can't have him, no. I saw him first, I saw him first. I saw him first, now have several seats.
Hi everybody, hi, welcome back to my podcast, and if you're watching on YouTube, welcome back to my YouTube channel. It's me, your host Taiwo, Angie, whatever you know me as. Welcome back. This is episode 37, I believe it is. Yeah, episode 37. And today, as you can see, a different setup again. I'm trying different things, you guys. No, I'm kidding. It's because the sun was running away from that side of the room where I prefer to record, so I decided to just do it on this side of the room where the sun is still quite prominent. Anyway, if you can also tell, my audio is sounding really crisp. I'm trying a different audio recording application that works better for my mic. So hopefully you're enjoying the new crisp, nice, clear audio that I'm giving you right now. And I'm back this week with a new episode, something really interesting that I found on Reddit, because that's where I get my inspiration these days. So without further ado, let's get into it. Let's get into today's episode. Dun, 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 dun. Okay, so I went on the subreddit dating, and someone posted a really interesting question, right? She said, he confessed that he has been lonely before he met me. So that's the title. He confessed that he has been lonely before he met me. Right, so she said, I met him on a dating app. We've been seeing each other daily since. Daily? We've been seeing each other date. That sounds like a lot. First of all, that sounds intense. I didn't even clock that the first time I read it. We've been seeing, unless you're in university, I have to put that in there. Unless you're in the same school, I don't know how young she is. If you're in the same school, the same campus, I guess it's very feasible to see each other every day because you're, presumably the same lectures or just, the same environment, so that's fine. But if you're a working class person, normal day-to-day, working class person, how do you have time to see someone daily since? Okay, I don't know how long they've been dating, but let's just carry on. That's a lot regardless. That's a lot. I mean, imagine seeing someone for a week and you've been seeing them every single day for 1 week. That's a bit much. Okay, so she said, he recently told me that before meeting, he was very lonely. And one of the reasons he likes me is that I listen to him and he can talk to me without any filters. Is that a good reason to like someone? That's the question that she asked on the dating forum on Reddit, and a lot of people had very positive things to say. Actually, I was a bit 50-50 up until the second thing that I read that she posted. So like I said, loads of people were giving that feedback. Someone said it means he trusts you and he wants to be open with you because he likes you. And while that's a positive thing, what the OP, this call on Reddit, what the person who posted the original post said was, yeah, but he opened up very, very soon. This is something he said in our very first conversation. And I was like, because of all the posts under this original post was like positive, like, oh, it means he's in touch with his emotional side. Everyone was lonely since COVID. That's not a bad thing. He's opening up to you. He likes you, all of this. But when she said, he said this on our very first like conversation. I'm guessing in-person conversation, not app conversation. But regardless, right, saying this to someone on the first date, like, what do you guys think about that? I personally think it's a bit much. This is a declaration that you make, I think, a couple of dates in. I would say maybe 3-4 dates in, because presumably by that time there's a mutual likeness. There's a mutual attraction there's a mutual what's the word I'm trying to find? It's so hard to find. We both like each other. We've both established that we like each other, because why are you going on a third date if you don't like the person, right? So I think that's a safe time frame to tell someone that, oh, I was actually really lonely before I met you, you know, I'm glad I met you, sort of thing. It's a good enough time to like open up to someone and say, it's one of the things that I like about you, which is what this post says. She said, he told me that before meeting me he was lonely, and one of the things he likes about me is that I listen to him and he can talk to me without any filters. Let's pick that out, right? Loneliness. Everyone gets lonely. That on its own is not a negative thing. I don't think I would be upset, or like, I don't think it's a red flag or an ick or a deal breaker if someone I was dating said he was lonely before he met me. Like, that's fine to say. Like, to say you don't get lonely, or to say, oh, I'm only on the apps because, you know, I've got so many options and pairs. Cap. You know, a lot of the times I used to, let me just confess, I used to be one of those people that, you know, I just found the app a little bit like what's the right word? Oh, the sun's come out. A little bit, I used to think it was a bit desperate, but that was before everything else sort of became online, you know. I think the first time I used an app was in 2018. I think that's the first time I joined a dating app. And for some people that's early, for some people that's, you know, further down the line. And before then, I used to, not gonna lie, I used to kind of shit on people that were on the apps. I'm sorry. But also I was young. I wasn't at the age where I think age really plays into it. And I'll tie that into loneliness. I wasn't at the age where I was particularly serious or very into dating or interested into dating at all. So of course I wasn't on the apps. Of course I wasn't putting in that effort, and that's what I think being on the app is these days. It's no longer seen as, you know, being desperate or trying too hard, because most other things are online now. Our lectures are online, work is online, so why not dating? Why not, you know, connection? Now you can even find friends online. Like Bumble has the friendship section of it. So back to loneliness. I don't necessarily think being lonely is a bad thing. I think that to say that you've never been lonely your entire life, that's a lie. That's cap, right? Because it's just sort of, and it depends again with the age thing. Like I said earlier, I feel like when you're getting to a certain age, people around you, it's not just you, it's the people around you as well that sort of affect how you feel about your loneliness or about being alone. So let's say you're not even lonely, let's say you're just alone. You're not dating anyone, you're not in a relationship, there's nothing going on in your romantic life. It gets to a point where you would start to feel some kind of way about that, not just because you naturally do, but because of the people around you. And I'll explain what I mean by that. So, like, at my age, I'm 24, whenever I'm chatting with my friends, whenever we meet for brunch, drinks, food, whatever it is, everyone sort of like takes turns talking about their lives to talk about. We start with like work. We usually just start with work, you know, talk about all the work frustration or whatever, and it just slowly moves on to life stuff, and then boys and who we're dating, who we're speaking to, and stuff like that. And there's that not really FOMO, but it could feel like FOMO, where it's like you want to contribute to the conversation. I feel like you would be left out, or you would feel left out if everyone else was speaking about, you know, who they're going out with, how many dates they've been on with this person, how they've gone on this and that, what presents they're getting, or what, not presents, but like gifts, you know, how they're being wined and dined, or how they feel about this person. I think it's only human of us. It's natural to want to join into this conversation, and it can feel lonely when you're the only one who doesn't have anything to contribute, or you don't have anyone to talk about. So that's what I mean by people around you also can influence how you feel about being alone, and loneliness can creep in that way. Or even like your family members, your friends, for instance, are away on the weekends because they're dating someone, they're on dates, they're on fun trips with their, significant other, and you're alone by yourself in the house, or your friends are not around, you're texting your friend. This actually happened to me this weekend. I'm calling out one of my friends. I don't think she's going to listen to this, but we actually plan to go out today, Sunday, that I'm recording this, and she texted me Saturday saying, oh, actually, no, I'm out with the person that she's seeing. And obviously, like, I'm not going to be upset with that about that, because I get it. Sometimes you just have to pick your man. I know they say bros before hoes, right? Well, the guys say bros before hoes, but sometimes you pick the hoes before bros. That's just how it is. And also considering the fact that my friends and I will see each other at work or whatever, it's not a big deal. But take for instance now that I've been looking forward to this. Say I've been looking forward to this weekend with hanging out with her, because I have no one else to hang with or no one to chat with. There's a big chance of me like sinking into that lonely feeling, like, oh, I was actually gonna hang out with her. Now I'm alone in my bed watching Netflix. Do you get what I mean? So it's easy to feel lonely. Before I ramble on and on and on, I don't think the guy saying he felt lonely before meeting her is a bad thing at all. Like, I think actually probably one of the biggest reasons people join dating apps, because they want companionship. I don't want to be alone. I feel like the whole movement now of like, actually, let's talk about this. This is a good interlude. I don't know. It's a good entry point into this conversation. The whole self-love, I don't need anyone, like feminism movement. I don't know how I feel. I mean, I'm a feminist, right? But there's some part of feminism that I don't necessarily agree with, and it's the part where they kind of want to completely like dismiss men and the need for men, and like and just close the gap between our differences, which I think is definitely not something that I'm into or all for. I'm not all for that. I think men and women are inherently different, and no matter how many more subcategories of sex and gender that we have, there's still just those two like biological sexes, which is male and female, right? And I think we're inherently different. So I don't really like that feminism is trying to sort of close that gap, but I digress. And what I was trying to get what I'm trying to get to with that is that the whole self-love movement and I don't need a man sort of movement makes women sort of feel like they shouldn't feel lonely if they don't have a man. But like, no, you it's okay. Like, you can feel lonely. Like, we're human. Everyone wants companionship, whether it's a friend, whether it's like a family member, your family, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, no one wants to be alone. I refuse to believe that there's someone in this world. I mean, they're the anomalies, but I refuse to believe that a regular schmegular Tom, Dick, and Harry want to be alone. Like, I do not believe that. Everyone craves companionship. That's just like the way we're built as humans. We want to connect with people. Like, we have just the innate need for connection. So the fact that feminism is trying to tell you that you don't need a man, sure, you shouldn't be unhappy. I don't know how to phrase this, but you shouldn't be unhappy because you don't have a man, but you also shouldn't feel like your feelings are invalid or your feelings are wrong for wanting a man, or for even saying I need a man. I need a man. I want a man and I need a man. I don't want to be alone. I don't want to be lonely, which means I need a man. I need companionship. It's part of life. It's a relationship that is important to your well-being. That's just fact. I don't like that some people try and dismiss the importance of romantic relationships in the name of self-love. You can love yourself and still want to be loved by others. You can love yourself and still crave romantic love. You can have family and friends that love you and still want a man and still feel like you need that romantic love because it's a part of life. Like biologically, we're actually born to to procreate. So like the hormones in our body, even the whole like cycle that women have, the whole purpose of it is procreation. So I feel like it's just a biological innate need that we have to find someone to partner up, to procreate, to connect, to have a companion. So I don't think that in the name of self-love or if it doesn't buy you flowers, you can get your own flowers. I like flowers, and I used to buy myself flowers a lot until it just started to mess with my nose. But there's this whole movement of I can get it by myself, I can get it for myself, I can do it all by myself. I don't want to do it by myself. Yeah, I can, but I don't want to. It's like I can open the door for myself, yes, but I still want the man to open the door for me. I can go out and pay for my food, but I still like the man to pay for my food. There's so many things that I can do by myself, but I still want a man to do it for me because that's what makes me feel good. And like a lot of other women, they feel good when they have a man in their life that's doing shit for them and just companionship, just being with them, just living life, experiencing things with them. There's some things that you do alone, it just doesn't feel as like fulfilling as doing it or seeing it with other people, whether your friends or your family or your man. Like even when I'm watching, there's some shows that I wouldn't watch by myself because I know I wouldn't enjoy it 100%, because when I watch it with my sister, it's a whole different experience. Like there's some shows we watch together, like Selling Sunset, or some like K-drama, or like some reality show sort of thing that we both mutually enjoy. Because I know that we both enjoy it, we both feel like the same level of excitement about science shows. I wouldn't watch just shows for myself, because I need her to watch it with me because I enjoy it more when she does. It just feels a lot more like exciting, it feels a lot more fulfilling. And I think the same goes with having a partner. Going on holiday solo, yeah, you could have fun, but is it the same? Is it really the same as going with your friends or going on a vacation? No, it's not. Like one of my favorite comedians or podcasters, right? Jared Freed. He recently went on a solo vacation. He spoke all about how he wouldn't necessarily recommend a solo trip. Like, the first day was nice, sightseeing. Other than sightseeing, going to restaurants by yourself, going to sit at a bar by yourself, it's not, especially in a new, city, it's not. It's just, he said it's just not it. It's not the same. It's not as, exciting as it's hyped up to be. I'm going backpacking around Asia by myself. I'm going to see the world myself. I don't need anyone else. All you need is yourself. Yeah, you should be self-sufficient, but like stop dismissing the need for human connection and the need to have a man. Like I think it's just, even when you apply for jobs, right? They ask you about teamwork. They ask you how you work in a team, because not everything has to be individual. And I think like, the whole self-love feminism movement is sort of promoting that like aloneness and everything being individual. I like individualism, but sometimes you do need, things are good in pairs. Sometimes things are good, like partnership is good. So loneliness inherently is not a bad. I feel like I've taken it all like diversion with this topic, but yeah, I got really sucked into it. So let's get back to the problem at hand, which is the guy saying that he was lonely before he met the girl. Let's reel it in and come back to the dilemma we started with. So the loneliness, again, by itself is not a problem. And then he goes on to say it's one of the reasons he likes the girl, because she listens to him and he feels like when he talks to her, he doesn't have to filter himself. Again, himself. I don't know which is correct. Either of the two. Again, those two like sentences they're not bad things. Like someone telling me that they feel comfortable talking to me about anything without filtering themselves, and it's one of the reasons they love me, because I'm a good listener. That's a compliment. That's something I want to hear from my man. That's something I want to hear from even my friend. I want them to feel, oh yeah, I can talk to her about whatever it is, and I feel comfortable doing that. But to say that on the first date, that does not feel right to me. That does not sound right to me, because on the first date you don't know me like that. Why do you feel so comfortable opening up to me? It would sound like he's bullshitting me. Like that's how I'm gonna. It sounds like love bombing. It sort of sounds like he's trying to establish some kind of relationship that's not quite warranted. It's not quite. I haven't earned that yet, if that makes sense. It hasn't gotten to that point yet. We've not gotten to that point yet where I feel like you can say that to me. I don't know if that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, even if we've been talking on the apps for ages, we're still only just meeting for the first time. That's two different things, right? So for him to say, I was lonely before I met you. Okay, let's pretend this is the guy talking to you. I was lonely before I met you. But this is one of the things I love about you. I love that I can talk to you and not filter myself. I love that I can tell you anything. On the first date? Like, why do you feel like you can tell me anything on the first date? That feels like intense to me. That feels like a red flag. That feels like love bombing. That feels like he's trying to just pour you like feed you some bullshit and just like sweet talk you. It sounds like a lot of sweet talking, and I would not believe him. It's too soon. It's too early on. If this came in third date, fourth date, a month in, or even better still, when you're actually in a committed relationship with this person, then it's like, oh my god, feel on top of the world, which is I think what the people from the comments didn't see, because a lot of the comments were really positive up until she responded with this comment. She added that saying, oh, but it's only been like, he said this in the first conversation that they had. And then I think the tone started to change a little bit, because I think the whole essence of this is that timing is important. Sometimes it's not what they say or how they say it, it's when they say it. It's like someone meeting you for the first time and telling you that they love you. Do you really know? I feel like it's just so important to note like the timing. Like, is this something that, think about it the other way around, is this something that I could feel about someone meeting them for the first time? Can I really feel like I can trust someone meeting them for the first time? Can I really feel like I can unfilter? Because the first date, everyone's like interviewing. Like, we're literally trying to put our best foot forward. No one is exactly who they are completely on the first day. We're trying to impress. So if you're somehow falling in love with me or trusting me on the first date, then I would be very cautious of that, because I know that first date me isn't the 100% everyday me. Does that make sense? I think it does. But anyway, that's all I've got to say about this week's dilemma episode. Maybe I'll be doing things like this. So one week I'll pick my own topic, another week I would take from Reddit. Anyway, that's it for this week. I've really enjoyed talking about this. I hope you guys did too. Let me know on my socials if you enjoyed this episode, or if you have any opinions about it. Do you think it's too soon? Do you think it's just, maybe a really emotional guy perhaps, but I still think it's a bit too much too quickly. Again, going back to my love bombing episode, this feels like close to it. I mean, it's not saying anything that's too corny, but it's still, I think it's not a deal breaker. I think it's a red flag. I would just take that with a grain of salt. I would just put that at the back of my mind. And if he says anything more like, too forward, too love bomby, after that, then I would sort of like, you know, it builds up. Like, I'll build a resume like for him. So take this and start, you know, whatever impression you have of him, use it to start whatever impression you have of him. And if he continues to say things like this, then you know that, yeah, this is not someone to mess with. Anyway, again, thanks for listening. My socials should be somewhere around here. Please follow on Instagram at isawhimfirstpodcast, Twitter at isawhimfirstpod. I'm not really on Twitter. But YouTube, if you're listening and not watching, please follow on YouTube. Subscribe on YouTube, type in Her Dalton, HERDULTING. Also at Adulting on Instagram. I'm thinking of combining I Saw Him First and Adulting on Instagram together, but I'll figure that out later. Yeah, thank you guys so much for listening, and subscribe on Spotify. You can do that now. Subscribe so you get notified when I have any episode. Thank you for listening. Tell your friends as well. Bye. 잘 가요. 잘 있어. I'm speaking Korean. Bye.